Hi, so I'm Bruno. I'm very happy to be here. It's so exciting. I've seen this alliance founded and started, and now, nearly 5 years after, I see it with a lot of enthusiasm around LoRaWAN and with new chairwoman, very dynamic. And moreover, I would say my goal of today is just an experience sharing. So what I will share is things we are doing in France. So of course, we know that what is happening in one country is not always copy-pasting elsewhere. So it's just an insightful sharing for you, which I hope you will find a solution for your own territories. So just to move on, before really entering into the return experience of our projects, I'd like to make a focus on the water industry, which we are, I would say, knowledgeable in some ways, with 15 years of experience trying to tackle these challenges about how to render the water management smarter, and in particular how also to help and ensure our customers, municipalities, and our mother company Veolia to move digital. So digital transformation, it's an easy word to say, quite difficult to process internally, especially in big corporations. So I'm very glad that Steve from BT did depict what is behind water, because I think maybe my small draw that you see it is even not tackling what Steve described previously. The water business, it's a smart city niche itself, where you can have far beyond than metering, and we will see that later on. So one thing which is important is business, okay? Do you have a public services which is profitable and balanced in terms of P&L? So let's talk about this. And today in the water industry, from the natural water that you capture, you treat, you distribute, you bill, and you recycle, everything is paid through the meters, okay? So it's volume compared to a price rate, and you just try to finance the overall value chain of the water metering. Here, the problem is that all the water produced and distributed is not billed. And from an average worldwide is 24% of this loss, and this is a pain point to try to tackle, because if you reduce non-revenue water, you don't have to increase water rates. You just have smart savings, and you just operate, I would say, in a leaner way. So this is our focus is at Bridz. And we started up 12 years ago believing that the digital transformation of water management starts with a digital meter. And what was very difficult is how to render smart, mechanical dumb meter already installed by millions and millions of PCs in hard-to-reach places, as the UK water pit that Steve described, and we know very well. So it means very, very deep, iron leads on the top, so constraintful for the radio. So just few numbers. Of course, I will let IHS Market update you for the 2019 figures. In Europe, the smart metering is a steady adoption year by year. So when we look, there are approximately 20 million in Europe, I would say, dumb meter or unconnected meter still rolled out on an annual basis. And we have 6 million of smart water meters, which is more and more, 14% compound annual growth rate, so it's steady. So it means that there is now investment on municipalities, public or private, to move towards. But the hidden figures that most of us don't know is that out of the 6 million, there is just a shy 5% that are connected online to LP1. Most of the meter data reading system is walk-by and drive-by. Why? Because the meter costs nothing. It's 20 euro, 25 euro. You can make the conversion in your own currencies. And when you add technology on top of that, when you digitize it, you have a cost of technology that double or triple the capex. So what industry, what public buyer can afford on his P&L to have a multiply 3 on his budget? How the board will approve that? So there needs to be a business case. Why should I invest in technology, and how I will have my benefits back? This is what we're trying to do. And if you do smart metering for meter to cash cycle, it's useless. I tell you it's useless. Meter, walk by, drive by, it's far enough. So where to find economies? I will come back on non-revenue water. This is the speech line. So there is a tremendous potential for LP1, and I will tell later on why we choose LoRaWAN. It's the fact that when you digitize a meter and you try to combine and unify all the meters plus other sensors like quality sensor, pressure sensors, and tank level, water wells tank level measuring, you start to have a water management which is inclusive, real-time reported, and then the small signals that previously you were unable to see as a network operator start to be visible, and then you start to implement smart operation to monetize the potential savings into real cash. So now let's talk about project. And of course, I think it's not only a man issue, but it's very important that we define how large is large. So the first very big project we have in LoRa, and it was really a match winner because we really did delivered economies to the water municipality, is the Eau de Grand Lyon case. This project is what we can consider a massive project. This is the combination of 400,000 smart water meter LoRa enabled, 6,000 noise correlator from Guterman that can pinpoint a water leak in a pipe with an accuracy of plus of minus 1 meter. It has been achieved with a LoRa transmission without repeaters based on proprietary network rolled out by Bridz. And this was really a match winner. And plus we have added from time to time more devices that you would see like fire hydrants and water quality sensors. You have on the positive outcome, what really was the benefit in 4 years for this project? Basically, we had several millions of euros of saving for the municipality. With the first thing is that they identified 1,200 approximate new leaks in the distribution network that was previously unseen with the previous technologies. This has permitted, after repairment, to reduce the volume of water captured, treated, and distributed of 1 million cubic meter annually. So when people have, I think most of you heard that water is sometimes electricity. A third of the OPEX cost to produce and distribute drinkable water is pressure and pumping station. It's electricity. So when you reduce 1 million cubic meter per year to push in the system, it's very big economies on the P&L. And at the end, and this was the most fantastic thing for the city, which have been visited by more than 120 international delegations so far, is the fact that the water regulator was every year applying a 2 million penalty to the city of Lyon because they were not matching their network efficiency. The cap was to have 85% of network efficiency. And you've seen that with what we've implemented, they achieved in 4 years that this KPI that was massive. So no more penalties, an extra 2 million penalties off the budget, which is very good. What I would like to show on this slide, so on the left side, it's, I would say, the description of the program. It's more on the left side. This cannot happen, such large project, without a risk management and mitigation with the public buyer. Public buyer don't take risks. They expect the provider to take it. And this is the description of the KPIs we have to execute on a monthly basis. 100% of the meter must be connected. It's very tough, very, very tough. Second point, we are paid only and if only 98% of the overall connected meter asset patrimony has delivered all midnight indexes of all the days in the month. The financial penalty is simple, it's indirect. KPI not achieved, we're not paid. While we have to pay for all our own suppliers and installers and everything. To give you just a price relationship, 1% gap between measured against the KPI, it's minus 2% on the monthly revenues. Just 1% gap, minus 2% on the revenues. It's big. But it's life, and this is how large projects can be win. So these projects have been rolled out in what we had at Bridz, a proprietary system. Here you have on the right side the distribution of the gateway we implemented. You can see quite easily where Lyon downtown city is. It's where there are lots of gateways in the middle. So it's a lot of work, and at the same time we have had to install also range extender, because repeaters, let's say. Because the thing is that sometimes we are in very hard storage places, we don't have high points, and we can't possibly be uncompliant with the 100% connection KPIs for the public municipality. So this is what we've rolled out, and it's a lot of cost. We operate it, but we are proud of it. And now I'm going to tell you the story of why we've switched to LoRaWAN. So when you look here on the maps, you have in the center what is the, I would say, coverage deep indoor that we have covered with our proprietary system. It shows, in comparison with public operator network nowadays, quite a gap between the red and blue. So of course, when we look at this slide, we can say, okay, I'd like to maintain and to stay proprietary. But actually, being proprietary means that we narrow down the economy of scale to only one supplier chain, which is not acceptable, I would say, in order to make the business grow. And on the other hand, the municipality are switching to, and they would like to have smart territories beyond smart cities, meaning to have one network supporting and connecting multiple use cases far beyond only water. And with our proprietary system, we're locked in our own expertise. So how to scale up and how to drive the cost down of connectivity. So this is where actually we totally made our choice, and we build up the relationship with strong players and partners. Just this shake hands is worth some billion euros. The guys that are shaking hands are pretty big. And the idea was LoRaWAN was an open standard. Second, with what we've done as LoRa-enabled devices, we are more than experienced around 4 years to roll out and to have some confidence about the fact this technology is good. So now, beyond technology, we needed to have a protocol and a standard in order to interoperate and secure IoT. Second, I would say the third point is that municipality can't wait for the techno war outcomes. This war between narrowband, IoT, LoRaWAN, Sigfox, and others is putting the public buyers into a situation to postpone their investment. But there is a moment where they can't postpone, they need to invest. So LoRaWAN was there and ready. And the final point is that smart and large projects such as Lyon, they are always very difficult to operate. It's not like POCs. It's very complex, and there is no such things as magic. You will have surprises when you roll out. So LoRaWAN was there. It was ready. The operators, public operators, were investing with us, and so we were in a condition to push the locomotive forward. So just a little first return experience on our very first LoRaWAN project that we've done in Corsica, Ajaccio. It's a small island in Mediterranean Sea. It's shy 30,000 points, so it's, I would say, an average project. And the difficulty with this project was that it is on an island, so there are very hilly backlands, and it's very difficult for radio propagation. So what we've done so far is here you have the distribution of the year-to-date deployment. So we are at 36% yes, of rolled out, approximately 10,000 units. And you have with the yellow darts, the positioning of the public LoRaWAN gateway operator. So I would say the first results were quite promising. Without adding any ranging standard, direct communication, we have, I would say, quite a good way of collecting data. So we have 3 KPIs, which are represented in the different blocks here. So the 3 KPIs are 90% of devices needs to send at least 1 frame in 2 days, and so forth for the other KPIs. So we see that there is still a mismatch between the objective and the measurement. And it's quite simple. We will see later on why we have this gap. This gap is just linked to hard-to-reach places, which is very common with the metering case. So you have on the left side, the projected coverage in yellow of the public operator, and you have on the right side actually the points where we are struggling to connect. Approximately 1,000 points out of the 10,000 rolled out so far. And we see that here we can densify the number of gateways, notably in the extreme southwest part. But even in downtown, we see that we have some red points. And here, because we have a meter that is in a pit between two buildings, and radio propagation is very harsh. So we can't also possibly ask the public operator to densify blindly, because it's expensive, so we understand. But at the same time, we need to comply with the public obligation to have 100% meter connected. So in order to overcome this deep indoor challenge, we have used the benefit of our proprietary old system to create a register battery operated that we call the Bridz, that listen into proprietary burst protocol and LoRaWANized, put in LoRaWAN, the meter. So this is how we overcome this problematic. But what we believe in is that this proprietary device is exactly our proprietary project in Lyon. It has no future, because it's proprietary. And what we are intending to do, and there is a demonstration during Berlin session with the techie guys, it's a LoRaWAN repeater near lineup, DC supplied or battery power supplied. It's a prototype. And we expect actually that this range extender could be a way, an alternative to densify at low cost the LoRaWAN network, public notably, that would require to have a coverage where it is hard to cover. The main big project that now that we win this beginning of the year in January, it's the city of Toulouse. It's the third agglomeration, urban agglomeration in France. It's a 200,000 metering point plus water quality sensor plus pressure sensor plus fire hydrants. So it's smart water networks actually. And we are very proud that with Veolia we've won this project, because there is going to be some other use cases beyond water brought to the city of Toulouse, thanks to the public operator that will push other use cases for smart city and smart territories. So we're very proud and very excited about this project. Now, when we look at the fundamentals, I would say coverage map. So you have on the left side the distribution of the metering point we will have to roll out by December 2020. And we have on the right side the public network coverage. And when we look at this, we are pretty enthusiastic, because actually the network is here and we have downtown pretty deep indoor coverage. We just see that we will have gray zones that are in very suburban, maybe countryside area. And if it's true that if in 1 year we can have LoRaWAN range extender battery operated in order to cover these cases rather than having our proprietary thing, we will have economies of scales and we can reduce the connectivity of very isolated points. The road to 3 million metering points is very long. It's not straightforward. And the metering business and utility business, it's a slow business, but it's a steady business. We're going to operate all those projects. We have 500,000 products in pipelines. We have 1.2 million metering points in pipeline, 500,000 in backlog, and we're going to continue partnering with public operators, because in that municipal market, public operator is better. Thank you for your attention. So I understand it's lunch, so maybe the question will be short. No. Go ahead. Do you have a mic?
So in your use case, which used a relay, what was the split between actual gateways and relays? How the number?
Okay. So maybe I can just jump down to the presentation, but if it's working, sorry.
I think you went past it.
So you have the split here just in the bottom right. So for 250 gateways, we have 21,000 repeaters.
Okay. So the other question is a little more of a roadmap or a forecast. So do you see heavier implementations just using repeaters than going with actual gateways for, say, an outdoor asset tracking kind of application?
So for asset tracking, the difficulty, of course, is to have a mobile device that is moving. But I would say it's most of the time in open field. So at the moment, you have a LoRaWAN gateway, and with the ADR adjustment and sensitivity, most of the time, if you have a good coverage in gateway, you don't need to have repeaters. And I would say those cases of having range extenders is particular to the IoT case where you have underground instrument, a connected instrument, static instrument, they are not moving, and that are operating on a long-term contract period, 10 years, 15 years. In that particular project description, then you might need those, I would say, low-cost range extender, because adding gateway, it's quite expensive. So if you have to add a 5,000 USD to install your gateway for just 10 or 15 points, you increase the total cost of ownership on maybe 5 to 6% of the overall metering number. So when you look at the distribution of your costs, you might increase, you might double your costs. So on the overall picture. So this is why actually here what is important is to try to find a way as an alliance, as a value chain player, to have a LoRaWAN battery operated device that can last for 5 to 7 years, that can relay 10 to 15 points, and that could be, I would say, a smart solution to densify a public network in an area which is needed as an ad hoc solution. It can't be considered densification as a mainstream with gateways. So use cases of asset tracking, I think, will not use those range extender for their mobility use case.